We're on the verge of something here, something big, a new release. Anthropic is coming out with their new Sonnet, which is a huge deal for coders specifically, but in general, it's going to be probably way better at writing and all sorts of tasks. So I came across this X post this morning, and it's showing that 3.7 Sonnet is on the model catalog. Now, I went to AWS where this is being leaked, and I don't see it, but showing up for other people, this is also a newer account because I don't use AWS. And if you don't use it for a while, they can even shut you down. So I'm trusting that other people are seeing it. And it's scheduled for release in 2 days. And why is that a big deal? Well, if you look at the previous kind of changes in the model, when we jumped from the older version of Sonnet to 3.5, it had a pretty drastic improvement where it went from 33 to 49% on the SWE bench verified benchmark, and then obviously tool use. And so this is what it is going to look like. There's a lot of stuff in here. So yeah, that's kind of wild. I'm hoping that it comes out everywhere in a couple days, not just on Bedrock, but we don't know that for sure. And you can also find, I made a couple of slides that just kind of like break it down. So the biggest difference is it will have standard thinking and then extended thinking. So it's going in the direction of the chain of thought stuff. And it will obviously include the computer use, all the normal agentic capabilities, but then the biggest one is the complex reasoning. Now, some would say, oh, we can do this already with putting in recursive prompts and step by step and critique yourself, but it's nice not to have to know how to prompt that. And so a couple of the things that are mentioned in it is obviously you can do the normal stuff of RAG and product recommendations and all these kind of different ones. But I think what will be a big deal is how it plays out for coders. Because if we look at this benchmark, which I think is a really good one, it's by Aider, it's still holding the strongest when you combined DeepSeek R1 with the latest Claude. And I think even with the latest releases from ChatGPT, kind of the consensus is that Claude has held strong through all this, which is wild. And we don't know how it ranks against Grok, but we will soon find out. If you look at the Web Dev Arena leaderboard, this one's still at the top, which is great. And I think that we're going to see a lot of big changes as soon as this comes out. And let's see what else. I'm hoping that the context window is larger. And here I had Grok do a little bit of research on it. So hopefully it's over 200,000. That'd be awesome. I doubt that they'll launch with the fine tuning support, but who knows? Again, the biggest difference is just that enhanced complex problem solving. Don't know if they're going to bring search, but that would be awfully helpful too. Some people are questioning whether this is a joke or not. I hope it's not a joke. Like I said, I couldn't find it on AWS, and I also couldn't find it on Vertex, but that doesn't mean that it's not coming out. I'm interested as to why they went with AWS, but it's probably because they received a massive investment from our boy Jeffy B. This was how the person found it. Was they got this output, and you can see that it self-describes as the ideal choice for powering AI agents, especially customer-facing agents and complex AI workflows. The supported use cases are RAG over vast amounts of knowledge, product recommendations, forecasting, targeted marketing, code generation, quality control, parsing text from images, agentic computer use, content generation. So it says that the attributes are reasoning, text gen, code gen, rich text formatting, and agentic computer use. I see something about stable diffusion in here, which is cool. So this could be the first time that we see Anthropic combining with image generation, which would be great. I'm hoping that we see, like I mentioned earlier, some of the web and kind of deep researchy stuff. Anthropic has yet to put out Chain of Thought. I think if you put this in a timeline, it was cool. We had chat, and then it was like, if we had a rough timeline, it was one, we have chat, two, we have chain of thought, and then three, we get the kind of deep research where it's grokking through a bunch of websites. And you see that with Kimi, the Chinese model, R1 kind of blew up, obviously, of ChatGPT Pro. But I do believe that Grok seems to be the best. And this is a pretty cool workflow for how someone's doing competitive research. I personally think Grok is great because I was able to just type in, what's included in this one that's coming up, and it searched across 27. If I had put that same thing into, let's say, Kimi, we can test that out. And I'll do long thinking, and we can put that one uh, by side with Perplexity. You can see this one did 30 pages. You see all of the news of people talking about this, but it is weird because it's pulling from an article from January. So that's not that great. But this is besides the point. I think that this will be coming out in the next week, and I'm very, very excited. Everyone that is a coder should also be very excited. I'm sure Cursor will launch something the same day that rolls it in. What I'm kind of worried about, and I think something that we've all run into as coders, is how a new model responds with Cursor, because Cursor has its own set of system prompts that it's doing. And we can see that it's nailed it with 3.5, but I'm sure that they get early access. I'm sure that they've already been testing and trying to figure it out. Chain of thought stuff typically doesn't work that well, I found in Cursor, but it's gotten a little bit better with the specific prompting that you can do rather than just one Cursor rules file. You can have specific ones. So let's stay tuned on what's happening. Any sort of news that comes out, I'll make a video. And if not, make sure you like the video. That's your way to pay the YouTube algorithm. Do all that fun YouTube stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.